Hello, Instagram. This is Judy with CACAO and Conscious Conversations. Iggy's coming with a cacao. I hope you guys got cacao or something to drink so we can...
Preferably not alcohol.
Not alcohol. Right. I don't think we're live on here.
Not yet.
Yeah. How do you go live?
What can?
All this like technical stuff. I don't really know. But anyways, yay.
Yeah.
Are we on? Are we on right now?
Post
Okay.
page.
Woo! Hi, Joan.
Description. I think
So.
this is required. This is required.
Oh, what? Journey to Telos. Oh, we are so excited today to talk about our experience that we just had in Mount Shasta. Oh my gosh, it was so profound and so amazing. I wonder if you guys are still feeling all the energies from the 1111 portal. So anyways, I thought I'd like to pick a card. I got this new deck called Star Temple Oracle, and I love this one. The artwork on it is just, oh my god, so amazing. So this one just came out. Hello,
right.
Facebook. I think we're on Facebook now. Yay.
Dashboard. There we go.
Hi, Facebook.
Hello there.
So I'm gonna be doing.
Happy Sunday.
I'm gonna be pulling a card for starting. So this is Judy and Iggy with CACAO and Conscious Conversations, and today's card is redirection. Every rejection is a redirection. Every rejection is a redirection. Ooh,
That's right. Rejection.
I kind of like that. So we don't see.
It wasn't
things.
a rejection. It was a redirection.
It's not a. What do you call it? It's not. No, that's the wrong card. This is my cosmic. Okay, you know what? That's not the right card. That one fell out, but I guess
wrong deck.
It was in the wrong deck. Okay, so we're gonna pick another card.
There are no coincidences.
I know.
In the universe.
We need
it wasn't
to know
a
that.
wrong deck.
We needed to know that for sure.
Huh.
Rejection is a redirection. Okay, just remember that, you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna pick. You want to pick a boo? So
Sure.
let's pick a card and see what the theme is for this week. So, Alcyon, Aethusa sun god. Ooh, look at that. Oh my God, that's amazing looking. I gotta show here on Facebook. Whoa, look at that card. The sun god. It says, lift off, I open my senses to feel delicious pleasure and passion.
Yes.
Whoa. Delicious pleasure and passion. Well, how many of us feel delicious pleasure and passion every day? I don't think a lot of us
me.
do.
I probably desire more of that.
Pleasure and passion. And like when you say those words, like we tend to think of it as like sexual, right? Mm-hmm. Pleasure and passion. But does it have to be that?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. So then,
Says
you know,
me.
how do you invoke pleasure and passion in your life without it being sexual? Asking you.
Me?
I'm asking you.
I thought it was a rhetorical question.
No.
Okay, well, for me, pleasure could be in enjoying yourself doing something you really love, right? So being in joy, that is a source of pleasure for me. Mm-hmm. For example, I love skiing. So if I'm carving that turn on the edge of a ski, that's a source of pleasure for me. Or if I'm listening to a piece of music that really lights me up. Mm-hmm. That sometimes lights up so much emotion within. That's a source of joy. Mm-hmm. So you can be joyful in any moment. You could be joyful just sitting outside or laying outside in the sun and just being joyful, receiving that beauty of sun rays on your skin.
Yeah, Joan says being alone in the woods.
Yay!
Heck yeah! I'm with you on that,
Drink
sister.
to that.
Yes, we'll drink our cacao to that. Cacao. Okay, so we're gonna be. I don't know if you guys have been feeling. Well, there's so much cosmic energy that is coming into the planet right now, and we just had, this powerful gateway of 11:11. There was like so many different kinds of meditations and so many different people gathering, which was yay, gather.
Yes.
We're supposed to be in community. We live on this planet together. We're not supposed to be separated, like F that, right? So, anyways, I'm all about gathering. I'm all about gathering. I don't care what is happening on the planet. I'm making gathering happen.
And that's
Period.
also a source of joy for me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Interacting with friends and soul tribe.
Yeah.
On intimate level. Having deep conversations, farting rainbows,
Right.
having a lot of fun, and sharing good food. That's all sorts of joy.
Yeah.
And pleasure.
So make that your theme this week, to invoke more pleasure, more passion, whatever it is that you feel inside that you haven't done for a while, or that you desire but think like you can't do. You can do it. Okay, you can do anything. Just put effort. You have to put effort. You have to put energy.
Make
in
it
things.
a priority.
And to really co-create what it is that you desire. So if you desire more pleasure, desire more passion, like you have to put some concentrated effort. All right, so start.
We can call it inspired action.
Yeah, and start releasing all those, like, I can't do this because of that. Like all the limitations and all the blocks that come inside of your head. Really, that's just made up shit. Like you don't need to even believe all of those things, because they're coming from someplace else.
Don't believe everything you think.
Because that's a part of you that is really stopping you from being really who you are. Okay, so there's a lot of inorganic stuff that's attached to our bodies and energy fields that do a lot of things to us, and so we'll get into that.
There are a lot of programs that run in our mind.
There's a lot of programming
which are not
and
our
and all of other
organic things.
devices and entities and all kinds of bullshit attached to people. But this is not what this is about.
Okay.
So we're going to actually talk about Mount Shasta, and let's just talk first about why we were there this week.
So we visited Mount Shasta for 11:11 portal. We were called to be there to put our energy in that beautiful vortex of Mount Shasta.
We were there with a part of our unicorn squad. Sony, shout out. Deanna, shout out to you guys. And we actually stayed our galactic friends, Paul and Jen. We were there to see their new baby, and then also we stayed at the Venusian. If you guys ever want to go to Mount Shasta, check out the Venusian. It's a beautiful retreat home.
Available for rent.
And it's on Airbnb, and we're actually using that home for our retreats next year in Mount Shasta. So I'm excited that we're going to be, really embracing galactic energies from our galactic brother and sister over there too. So there's so many galactic energies in Shasta.
And
so
it has
easily
beautiful
felt.
views of Mount Shasta and Black Butte. So it's just right there. You're right in that energy.
So we were there on 11/11 for this powerful gateway, and Iggy and I did a virtual cacao ceremony that morning on 11/11 itself. But This is what was so interesting when I tell you kind of like the backstory and how the heck we like landed where we landed like right before the night before.
So we arrived on 10:10, right?
11:10.
Oh, sorry, 11:10. 11. So day before 11:11, and we arrived around lunchtime, and the cleaning people were not quite done. They were still finishing cleaning up the house and getting it ready, and we got involved in conversation with them, and lo and behold, they told us about this shamanic journey that was happening that night, Wednesday evening, and they invited us or encouraged us to attend, and so we felt compelled to do that.
So it's a meditation. It was a journey to Telos meditation by Makwa Ikwa, who she's German, and she's a shaman, and she was guided by High Priest Adama, to do these meditations every Wednesday. They told her every Wednesday at 7 o'clock, right? Every Wednesday at 7 o'clock to do these guided meditations. And in these guided meditations, and her connection, with, should we just explain? Because probably people don't even know what Telosians and all that is. Okay, so we need to do
background story.
We need to do a little background about, so you can understand what we experience. So, journey to Telos. What is Telos? Okay, a Telos is a fifth dimensional city.
And it's not really just city. It's an entire world, you could think
a location.
Yes.
I'll say a location, a fifth dimensional
or higher dimensional location.
Location that is, set in the space of Mount Shasta. People say it's like under, Mount Shasta.
But it's not really under the surface.
It's not
like
under.
In a different realm. It's a different realm.
Yes.
And so you can connect to it if you are open spiritually, or if you have your third eye open, you can connect.
Or if you go on this shamanic journey, you can do that too. And so this fifth dimensional location of Telos, a long time ago when Lemuria sank. I don't even know. Do we need to explain Lemuria?
I think it's just too much.
Okay.
To go there.
Well, so Lemuria, a long time ago, there was maybe a lot of you guys know. A lot of people know Atlantis. A lot of people know.
So Lemuria was a continent or a land, right? Even before Atlantis. And it was in Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
And aspects of Lemuria are represented in today's geography in Hawaii and also in parts of Northern California on Shasta. But it really spanned large parts of Pacific.
Huge landmass.
Right.
A huge landmass.
Which sank almost overnight. It was really a catastrophic event.
Yeah.
But the Lemurians were very psychic, and they were more advanced spiritually than we are today. So they knew that this is going to occur, and they were already preparing for transition to higher dimensions. And many of them, prior to sinking of Lemuria, they moved to this other dimensional realm of Telos, which now exists within Mount Shasta.
I think it was it something like 25,000? I can't remember.
I don't know exactly the timing, because some people talk about 12,500 years and some people talk about 20-some thousand. I don't really know what.
All we know is that some people of Lemuria actually stayed while it was getting flooded, and they really anchored their energy, in there.
And they died with
the
sinking of the land.
And then some of the Lemurians went to Telos and decided to go there. So this journey to Telos meditation that Iggy and I did on Wednesday night was this guided meditation to connect to the Telosians and this shaman Ikwa, she said that so many things can happen when you take this shamanic journey to Telos. She talked about like getting healing, that the Telosians can come and heal you. She talked about like even going into the med beds. If you guys know about med beds,
they can take you to their hospitals for healing.
Mm-hmm. They can take you around to Telos, and look around.
They can take you off planet. Wherever you'd like to go, they can take you to Akashic Records library, and you can read more about yourself
like
and your lives.
Past, present, or if you want to understand yourself more. What else did she say about that? Oh, she talked about some book. Remember writing in a book?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
She was saying that there is this book that you can, if you're invited to write in it, there are empty pages, and you can just like write in the book, but you be very careful what you write in there, because whatever you write in there, you manifest for yourself and for humanity as well, potentially, for the world.
And so this is so many people can experience so many different things when she's guiding people to Telos. And so for me, it was freaking profound. Oh my God. If you are ever in Mount Shasta, you need to go on a Wednesday night. And she does it every Wednesday at 7:00. And it was so funny because when we went there, she told us that the location that she usually does the meditations, she changed the location, and she forgot to put out a flyer, and so she didn't know who was going to come.
And there were 5 of us that showed up.
Yeah, and it was just really
We literally found out about it that afternoon, right? Or around noontime. So for us, it was extremely short notice.
Yeah.
And we're flexible, and that's the beauty of it. So maybe we can describe the setting. So this room that we set up in is a beautiful healing space. They do yoga and some other events in there.
It's at I Am University.
Yes. And so there are rugs around this giant crystal bowl, which was probably like 24 inches.
Pictures.
24 inches
yeah,
or so, like
beautiful.
Giant crystal bowl in the middle. And we all sat around it. And eventually, after the initial talk, we laid down. We had pillows and blankets, and we were all laying with our heads towards this giant bowl. And then the lights were dimmed, and so candles were on, and the facilitator brought out her drum, which is just giant, like, I don't know, 30,
my God, you guys.
32 inches,
giant
shamanic drum.
That was like
and
3 feet probably.
Throughout the entire journey, which was about 45 minutes, she drummed nonstop. And that drum put us in such a state of trance that literally transported us elsewhere.
Boom, boom. It was like that low was like boom, boom, boom.
Well, first before we started, she hit the bowl, right?
And whoa,
that resonance of that like 24 inch bowl was incredibly powerful.
Wow, it was amazing.
So that was like the start, just a giant bell.
Oh my God.
And then she started drumming, and that's when our journey started.
And the drumming was it's a giant drum, and that frequency being so low, it was such a deep. It just, for me, it went into my very core when I was listening to it. It was like boom, 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 boom.
You could feel it within your sacral and root chakra, just like vibrations throughout your body.
Boom, boom. It was so. I want to drum like that. I want that drum. I want a big, huge drum like that. Anyways, so there were like 3 things, right, in the beginning that she talked about.
Yeah. So in preparation and talk leading up to our journey, she said she will say 3 things. And what was the first thing? First thing was a spirit animal or a place? Place.
Oh,
sacred
no, it was a place. So
whatever comes up in your consciousness, it could be water, ocean.
Yeah, she talked about
forest,
your kind of like a safe place, for
which is a starting point for the journey.
Oh yeah, she said a starting point. Like visualize a starting point for for your journey, whatever starting point that is. And so for me, I immediately went to a waterfall. That was me. That was my starting point, was a waterfall. What was it
for me was, at first I thought I'm seeing a mountain, but then it kind of morphed into a pyramid. So it was like a stone-stepped pyramid.
Oh, yeah.
Well, next thing was like the spirit animal, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, she said, and then connect with your spirit animal. And for me, we didn't even start the journey, and when she was explaining, like immediately I saw a dolphin. Like I saw a dolphin. Like
I saw dolphin too when they first mentioned it, but then when she told us like, okay, connect with your spirit animal, I saw a vulture, and it's interesting because my ego is like, what do you mean vulture? Do you mean like hawk or eagle? No, vulture. He's like, okay, I guess it's a vulture.
For me, when she guided us to connect with our spirit animal, I saw the dolphin, and then I also saw, it was really super interesting. So I saw a dolphin and then a pelican. Okay, that makes sense, right? Like a water. Yeah, like water or whatever.
Creatures.
And then what was the other animal that I saw? Oh, and then I saw a hawk. I saw the hawk. And so I'm like, okay. Okay, that was interesting.
So after we connected with the spirit animal, she basically stated the third command, which was take me to Telos. And that was the final thing, and then after there was no speaking, and we basically just started the journey.
Right. And so she was saying that if you see a person, you can ask, are you High Priest Adama? And if he says yes, I am, then you can ask him anything.
Or you could also ask to be taken to him.
Or you could be taken to him, too. So, so that we should talk about who he is.
So Adama is a high priest of Telos. So we read Telos books 1, 2, and 3 by Aurelia Jones, and she channeled Lemurians and from Telos, talking about how they live, what really happened to them. It kind of explains the history of Lemuria and how Lemurians live now in this higher realm. So for those of you who are interested, we highly recommend these books.
Read the Telos books.
By Mount Shasta Publishing. And so if you are in Mount Shasta, you can get them at the Soul Connection, right? Or is there? Yeah. Yep. Okay. And so.
Or you can buy them online.
You can buy them online as well. If you get it as a 3-pack, you save money.
And the thing about this is a book that was channeled by Aurelia Jones, and she was communicating with the High Priest Adama and others there in Telos, and she's asking different
including
kinds
Saint Germain, who is the patron of Mount Shasta.
It really describes how it is that people live in the 5th dimension. So, yay! Joan is reading volume 1. Woo!
Awesome.
And so when you understand, wow, it's just another way of living that humanity can really we're moving towards. And so to me, when you read those Telos books, it activates something within you to know that we can live this way where there isn't this separation consciousness. So we highly recommend it.
Yeah, okay? There is just it's so activating and it brings up certain remembrance within us.
Yeah.
There are also kind of practical suggestions on what to do in your evolution and spiritual journey here at this now moment.
Yeah, it's a wonderful book. So we highly recommend you guys read that, because if you do and you are drawn to the Telos books, then to me that means you probably had a connection with Lemuria, and that you are here to help people bring in the 5D frequencies. So anyway, so let's talk about our journey.
Yeah, and so when we were talking about High Priest Adama, it's not religious.
Not like a
term.
Not how we see it like in religion.
Priests in higher dimensions can be considered teachers. Mm-hmm. They are basically teachers and guides in a spiritual evolution. So let's not have that kind of like religious attachment to it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and so for me, when I was guided through the journey and I saw my spirit animals, so I saw a dolphin, I saw a hawk, and I saw this pelican. Actually, it was like all three of us were like, in the beginning, what I saw all me and all of the animals with me, and we were like flying, swimming in like this cosmic water at first. I was like taken through kind of like, and it looks sort of like stars in there too, like a whole bunch of stars. And I don't know, it just was like this cosmic water. That's how I can explain it. And I saw like sparkles all over. So it felt like I was sort of in space, but it was bluish pinkish is what I saw. And we're all coming together. It was as if, to me, it was as if the hawk was the one leading the path, like, because the hawk was above all of us, so, and then the dolphin and the pelican, where all three of us were kind of like underneath, and it was the hawk that was like leading us through wherever we needed to go. So that's how the journey started for me. How did it start for you?
Well, I saw the pyramid, and then I saw the vulture, but when she said the command, take me to Telos, I didn't see those visions anymore. I did not feel the presence of the vulture or the pyramid. That kind of disappeared, and I saw a whole bunch of textures, almost like textured walls and things like that, and these and a gate. I saw a gate, and I wasn't able to like get through it, and so like this is where my ego was coming up to the forefront, where I was like, what's going on? Am I not allowed to get in? And so she told us that we have this magic wand we can use, that we can just wave it and like open up the gates or doors or whatever. Or
use a magic wand for anything.
So I used magic wand, and it's funny thing, like this is like my mind games that my ego was playing. Like this gate opened, and there was another gate behind that, and that opened, there was another gate behind that, and there was like all these gates. So it's like, okay, what the fuck? Why are all these gates, or how come I can't get in? And then I kind of like had to get to place of surrender, of like giving up that like it needs to be a certain way.
Surrender.
Exactly. So surrender was a big thing for me that came up. It's like it's not the way you think.
For me, when she said take me to Telos or whatever, what I saw was after I was flying with all the animals, then I felt my body, and as I was laying there in the room, and then I saw all these Telosian beings, people, all these Telosians, like standing around me, and like on this side and this side, and they were kind of like hovering above me, and I was totally receiving healing. It was like they weren't even like putting their hands or anything. It was just like they were just standing there. They were just like standing, kind of leaning in towards my body a little bit like this. And then I could feel like so much love, emanating from them. I really felt here from more their heart energy. That's where it felt strongest to me, because I could see all their faces and everything. I mean, and they were, I don't know how many of them were around me. I don't even remember now, but there was like a lot of them around my physical body, and they were there. So Makwa talks about that they are there, wherever she is in that space, and it's super tangible. So they're like here in the 3D. So I got to experience the Telosians around my body, and they were like, ooh, I'm gonna cry. Whew. They were healing me. They were giving me so much love, and I could feel their hearts, just the energy of their hearts just pouring into my body. And it was like, I cried almost the whole time. Whew. And so just like talking about it now is just bringing that back. But whew, it was so beautiful for me that like tears like were pouring down my eyes as they were doing that healing. I don't even know how long that lasted, but like the feeling that I got on the inside is I felt like some things, like some dense things inside my energy field were sort of like, how I can explain it, it felt like it was melting. Like I felt like melting away, and they were doing that with like just their heart, their love. It was like not like they were going in me, but they were just projecting and illuminating their heart energy into my energy field. And then I could feel like this density start to kind of break up and like leave my body. Whew. Whew. Oh my God, I didn't think I would be emotional talking about that, but it was just really beautiful how that was happening, for me. And I was totally crying that entire time when that was happening. Okay, that was when I got to Telos. Like that was my experience, and I was like, holy cow, this was like, whoo. So much love, so much love,
The other thing I wanted to mention is it's so difficult to describe all that we have seen and experienced, because some of the things that I saw, I have no frame of reference for. So there are certain things that I was shown that I can't even describe. I had a visual of something, and I don't know what it is. So, like for example, there was one time when I was shown this giant kind of like sphere, but it looked like it was in like some kind of artificial construct, but on the outside of it there were like trees and vegetation partially like halfway around it, and like attached to the walls of it, and I don't know what it was, and I was like, is this like the power source for something or whatever? So like that's the message I get. Yes, this is like the source of power, but I didn't know what it was. And so there were many other things that I saw that I don't even know what it was. And so just kind of like looked at something, it didn't like resonate, didn't feel familiar, and so I just kind of like moved on. So it is difficult to sometimes describe experience like this, because if you were, let's say you take somebody from 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago and put them in a modern city with some technology or whatever, they will not be able to describe, they will not know what cell phone is, they will not know what microwave is, they don't know what even car is, right? So they will interpret their experience through their level of understanding and consciousness from the era that they were from. And so like some of those things that I saw, I'm not able to describe.
And so I totally believe that, because this happens to me a lot in meditation, when I see certain things or they show me different things, and I'm like, my little human brain does not understand, like, I don't even know what that means, I don't know what I'm seeing, I don't know, sometimes when I see a lot of things, and that happens to me a lot, like they show me a lot of different kinds of things, I have like, my human brain can't really understand it, but I know that I need to be exposed to that information or see something so that it can really get in there and awaken something within me to have that deeper level of like esoteric teaching or deeper level of awakening start to happen. So I always feel like when you're shown something for a reason. Like it's supposed to happen, for a reason.
Yeah, sometimes it activates something within us that
right.
we don't even comprehend.
And sometimes like something that you see in that moment, later on in the future, something else will happen, and you're like, oh my God!
What it was.
When I saw that thing last time, then you'll see the whole like all of it like sync up and have a understand
the connection.
Yeah, you'll understand that, and so. For me, after I had that healing, from the Telosians, what they told me is that they took me someplace, and it was like in this room, and this room was like, it had like fluorescent lights in there. I could see that, I couldn't see like really clear, but I could just see different color like fluorescent lights. And then I felt myself like laying down on some kind of platform, and then they told me we're going to put you in a med bed, and we're going to have you experience a med bed, but you're not going to experience the full med bed. We're just going to give you like a taste of what the med bed experience is like, so you can understand what people are going to be experiencing. And I was like, holy shit, I'm going into a med bed? Like, what the, whoa. So, and I didn't ask to go there. They took me in that room or wherever the space was, and what it looked like. So I'm going to describe from what I remember. So it did look like an MRI machine. If you guys want to know what like an MRI machine kind of looks like, it's kind of like a
tunnel.
Like, yeah, it's kind of like it's like a tunnel kind of thing. And so I was there, but it was clear. The whole thing was like I could see through it. But also the med bed had lights on it, and it had like different colored lights. So I remember seeing like a lot of green light. I saw like blue. There was also like pink light. So as I was going through this med bed, and I was like head first. So I was like going in like kind of like that, going in. It made a sound like a not a big sound, but kind of like a vibration. I could feel sort of like this vibration, like that. And but my eyes were open, and I could see out of it, like all of it this way, up above. It was totally clear, so I could see into the room that I was, or whatever, the space that I was in. So they took me through it, and what I felt as I was going through the med bed was I felt the energy of the vibration first, because I was laying down. I felt it on my back. And I could feel the like energy and frequency coming up from my back. And then this because it was like super clear, the device was super clear. I could see, and what happened is as I was going through, there were like lights lighting up in, I guess, the device itself, and that's when I saw the green light, the blue light, or whatever, and it felt like, I remember at the time, like I felt when I was going through, I felt like my eyes like blink a lot. I was like blinking. I was like super blinking, a lot, because those lights were coming on. So then I started to feel the frequencies coming this way. First I felt it on my back, then I felt it coming this way, like all around me, like this. Okay, and then on my back, it started to get stronger a little bit. Like I could feel something kind of sort of like a vibration going, like pushing up my back. Then I was feeling the energy come all like around me. So it was like this. I went through it, and it was like going in, and then they took me back out. It wasn't even that long. They just wanted me to experience it, and they said that I'm going to go back there later. But they wanted me to feel a little bit of what it feels like. So it's not scary at all to be in a freaking med bed. It just
Not claustrophobic.
it's not claustrophobic or anything like that because you can see out of it. It's clear. And so we're going to be using this technology of med beds when it comes out next year. Okay, it's already existing, and I know that they're what was told to be like, oh, was it last week? Like I saw there are going to be places where they're going to be having these med beds, and then they're going to need like healing centers for people afterwards, pre going into the med bed and post, because depending on what people heal when they go into the med beds, they're going to need to integrate the healing. Okay, and there's different kinds of med beds, ones that can regress your age, ones that help your physical, body, and help with, like mental issues and things like that. So there's going to be a lot, but still the med bed doesn't like mess with your free will, and so depending on, and not everybody is going to be qualified to do certain things, because you have to have a level of consciousness to go into these med beds. You can't just be like, I want my body to be 20 years younger, and then, or 30 years younger, and then when you come out, you're like, if you're like 60 and you're like 30 and you're the same age as your children, but you don't have the level of consciousness, right?
And wisdom.
And wisdom to be in that body. So I don't know how it works, but all I know is that there needs to be some integration after you are going through the med bed. So this is what happened to me when I was, in that journey.
Speaking of that, I think it's also important to mention that in my understanding of all illness and diseases, that's manifestation of our state of misalignment. And so we manifest conditions.
Or get hijacked.
Well, that is also a possibility, right?
That is happening right now.
But
that's happening.
But
we are hijacked.
If you are healed physically, right, like let's say through technology like that, but you don't address your mindset, you don't address your belief systems, your limitations and whatnot, if you don't heal those things that manifest the disease, then it'll come back. And this is the reason why many times people who have operations, let's say for cancer, and all of it was taken out, they get it back. There is complete a return of the disease because the mindset hasn't been addressed. The mindset didn't change. And so like this is, I think, integration you're talking about is it's important to be able to fully heal and release that which manifests in the condition.
Well, what happens is because we're up-leveling in our consciousness, we're going to have these healing centers that will have to address your consciousness. And so this is what I'm going to have in Costa Rica. I'm saying that out there for all you peeps, because I need some serious help for me to create this healing center in Costa Rica. I didn't know what it was going to be, what this was. I was shown 5 years ago in my ayahuasca journey that I'm supposed to make this like healing center, and in Costa Rica, that's going to be in this peninsula, and it was the Pleiadians helped me build it, and so now I understand what it is. Now I understand. So, anyways, all of that just synced up for me this past week, understanding the med beds. You want to talk about like what happened to you next after?
Yeah. So I was so much in my head in the beginning, and I got the message clearly after I saw these gates after gates after gates that I need to surrender. So like get out of my mind, right? And this is where the power of the shamanic drum really came through.
Oh, it's awesome, guys.
That reverberation of the vibrations of the drum throughout my body, I just connected with that and stayed with that vibration. And once I surrendered to that vibration, I was there. You know, I just next thing I see the guy that the person that this person kind of like it was inviting me, and he was in the street and greeting me like, welcome, come on and join us. And he reminded me of like the Spock's son from Star Trek Young Generation. That's the closest reference that I have to the way the guy looked. So it was a male figure. And next thing I know, I was taken to a healing place. So I was in a healing place, and I didn't really see much there. I just knew that I was being worked on. And that was probably my etheric body, energetic body that they were working on, which I was extremely grateful for. And what happened next? So then I saw many different things, and I don't even remember the sequence of what I saw. One of them was I was like going through this like open, it looked like market place. It was partially covered with the roof, but it was kind of open air place, and there was a whole bunch of like, it looked like plants, and also it almost looked like ready to eat like salad or something like that. I don't know what that was, but afterwards I saw what I thought was a furry man that was like really pure white, full of fur, right?
Like Chihuahua?
But I don't know. It almost think about like a buffalo, like fur, but with spikes coming out, like hairy spikes coming out of the fur, but it was completely white and like radiating. And I was thinking, and then as I was like, what the heck is that, right? Like, who is that? And then and then like I guess because I had again no frame of reference for that, so I was not really understanding what is it that I'm like looking at. And next thing I'm seeing, that's not a fur, it's a light. It was just beams of light emanating from this being. And it was overwhelming because of the sense of like the peace and love that was emanating from this being. And then I asked him, "Are you Adama?" He said, "Yes."
That was Adama?
Yes. That was
what? Oh my God.
I was like, holy shit.
A furry white.
Well, at first I thought it was like fur. Didn't realize that it was light, just like emanating from him.
That's so funny.
So he was just to my perception. At first, it seemed like this like white fur, but it was actually like. I mean, I don't know. I'm just sharing how I was perceiving it. That's all. It seems funny, right? And so, and so that was a beautiful experience. And I don't even know what happened after. So again, I saw a whole bunch of things that I have no frame of reference for.
What did he tell
texture.
you? Did he tell you anything?
I don't know. I think the only thing I remember that's like, we're gonna take you off planet. And the next thing is I was on a ship. I was being taken somewhere. And then I was getting the downloads of all the codes. And so like what was interesting, so normally when I'm receiving upgrades, sometimes you see light codes in like they look like a light with different shapes, right? What I was seeing first, I was like, so I'm on the ship and we're going somewhere. I don't even know where we're going.
Could you see the ship?
I saw the ship first when I was like getting on it, right? But then I was
what
not
did it
really.
Look like?
I don't know. It kind of looked like metallic disc or something. I don't know what it looked like. It just seemed like that was in my consciousness, like, oh, this is a ship, right? But I don't know how large it was or anything like that. It's just like, it just like the knowing. I'm like getting on the ship, and so then I started to see these like again like textures. It almost like, what am I looking at? No like frame of reference, and I'm like looking like a wallpaper. It looks like dark blue, kind of like dusk blue wallpaper with black like prints on it, right? Or dark or black, almost like kind of like graphite. And next thing I'm looking at it, and it starts to look like Arabic writing. These like the beautiful calligraphy in like Arabic, right? And then I realized like it's moving. This writing is moving, and it's moving into me at a really rapid speed. So it was almost like these sheets of code that were coming into my energetic body. And it was, I was just blown away by that. So
what did
that
it feel
was
like?
it felt powerful. It was really well. I was just at that point observing and not fully understanding what's happening. So I just had this knowing that this is some kind of upgrade for my energetic body, and that's it. You know, so I was just surrendering to it, and it was flowing to me. And next thing, we're done with the journey. So that was kind of like the end of journey for me.
That's amazing. Yeah, so some of you may, if you meditate, you may like experience something like that where you do receive upgrades from higher dimensional beings, where you receive all these light codes, you know, to help you clear things, to help you activate your DNA, you know, and things like that. And you may see codes. They may look like Arabic or Sanskrit or whatever. So like I see them, so that's like the closest that I could describe the codes. If you look up light codes, people draw them and they're amazing. I wish I could draw them, but for me it's like so, I mean, I channel the codes through sound and through my body, my hands, but it's just so amazing.
So if you understand that we exist in a holographic universe, and everything that you see around you is made of codes.
Everything.
So
everything
it's
is made
all
up of codes.
construct of code. And so that makes sense that like as we up level energetically and expand our consciousness, that we need to receive upgraded code for our etheric bodies, for our multidimensional bodies, whatever it is, particularly when we're moving from this density where so much has been hijacked and manipulated.
Yeah. And so for me, the rest of my journey like was like similar in receiving more healing and activations. So for me, what happened was after that med bed, I didn't even know where the heck I was, but I saw this man, and he looked like Merlin with like a long white beard, and he was like wearing a robe and stuff, and it was as if I was floating up to him, and he was like sitting on something, I don't even know. And then I just asked him, are you High Priest Adama? And he said no. And I said okay. So then when he said no, it was like I was being drawn to him, so I was like floating over. And when I came face to face with him, he put his finger here on my third eye, and then when he put his finger on my third eye, it was like it went black. Like I couldn't see. Everything was just black. I felt like I was in this black hole, literally, because it felt like, you know, like in Star Wars, or when you're like on warp speed, you know, like that. It had that feeling like I'm like warp speed, but no lights. It was just like completely black. And then when I was in this black hole, I was seeing like black, I don't even know how to describe it, things in there, like black particles, you know, in this like black, you know, hole. And so the message, the message wasn't even like English. It wasn't even
Well, it was telepathy,
like,
right?
Sent to me like by talking. It wasn't even telepathy. It was just the feeling. The messages were coming through like the feeling, and they were telling me that this is how creation started. It started from the void. It started here from the blackness. It started how creation, all of creation started from here, from the void. And so they were showing me, I was being shown like all this black, just all this black. And then I started to see these particles, but they were still black, you know, in there. And then as I started to move more in kind of like that warp speed more. I was going super, super, super fast. And as I was going through kind of like that black hole or whatever, then I started to kind of see light. Kind of like in that warp speed, how you see the light, you know, how they show in the movies, like you're going warp speed. So I started seeing some light. And as I was seeing that light, they said that this is how form starts, with light and frequency.
So darkness or void in itself is not negative, right? I mean, that was kind of hijacked too, to be afraid of the dark, because darkness is where the creation is created. It's a womb of creation.
And so this is what they showed me. As I started seeing light and like particles of light, kind of like in that warp speed, it started getting brighter and brighter and brighter. And what was told to me through feeling, no words, it all was told to me through a knowing on the inside, that they were saying that how creation, how things start to manifest in form is through light and through frequency and through sound. So as I was going through this, like warp speed hole or whatever, I could start I could start to hear or feel like a vibration and a sound, start to form. So then that's all I experienced there. It was just, I guess I had to know that for a reason. The next thing I knew is after that happened to me, I was with my animals, again, and floating somewhere. And then I was at a beach. I was like in the sand. I saw the ocean and I was at the beach. And I remember like I was standing there at first, and just like I couldn't see around me, but I was just looking straight, and I saw the ocean, and I could even feel my feet like in the sand. And I had this knowing inside that I'm in the land of Mu. I'm in Mu,
which was Lemuria.
Which was Lemuria. So I was in Mu.
Land of Mu. And
to the left, so then it's kind of like, like in your dream state, like it's sort of like misty, cloudy, and then things start up here like that. That's what happened to the left of me. It's like the cloudiness started going away, and it was like and I saw all these women, to the left side of me, like women that were older, all ages. Everybody looked above 18 though, like
mothers
adult
and grandmothers.
Yeah, adult women, like grandmotherly looking women. I saw women who I would say mostly maybe in their 50s or 60s ish age, and different body shapes. Some were like a little thicker, some were like just all women. And most of them had like dark hair. Most of them had dark hair. Some of them even had like hair like in a bun, like I could see in a bun. And so when I saw these women, I felt like this immense amount of love again. And they were, I turned my body to face all of them over to the left, and they were all telepathically communicating with me, and they were telling me like, welcome sister, like welcome sister. That was what I was getting. Like they were all saying that, welcome sister, and oh my God, I just started crying, at that point. And as it was kind of like they were sort of in a line over to my left, and as I felt like I was floating as I was like going and standing in front of each one of them. They were giving me a flower lei. They're like putting like leis over me, and then there was some sort of like behind me that were throwing like flower petals over me. And so they kept giving me leis and welcome sister, giving me leis, welcome sister. And then I had all these like leis, but it was really interesting, because as they were putting the leis on me, it didn't feel like I had a whole bunch of lays that were up to here. It was like they were giving me a lay, and it felt like it was like going into my body. That's what I want to say. It was like going in to my body.
It's energetic.
So it was like energetic. Yeah, it was like an energetic lay. It was like an energetic flower lay that was going into me. But it was so interesting because I could see the lays, like, but it wasn't like one stacked up on the other to the other, like, you know, because it was a lot.
Probably receiving an upgrade.
Yeah. So they were giving me these flower lays, and I could see them, and I could feel them, and I could smell them, and I was crying because it felt like home. Woo! It felt like home, as they were. I really felt received. I felt like they were receiving me, and then they said to me. This is at the very end when I was receiving the lay, and the last woman, she said to me, welcome to the sisterhood of Lemuria. The last woman, like an elder, she said, welcome to the sisterhood of Lemuria. I was crying, like, whew. And I really felt in my physical body, like as I was in that room, you know, totally felt so held and so loved and so nurtured and so cared for and so cradled, you know, like cradled in the arms of your mother. I felt it like all around me, like not only the mothers of Lemuria, but like Mother Earth. Like I felt like the whole planet was cradling me in her arms. When that last elder said, welcome to the sisterhood of Lemuria, it was as my entire being was flooded with divine feminine energy, and I felt so loved.
Beautiful.
And then I was still there standing in the sand, and I was looking in the water, and they told me to go inside of the water. So I went inside of the water a ways, and I was kind of like in the water about here. And then all of the sisterhood of Lemuria was around me in a circle. They were encircling me inside of the water, and I was like standing in the center of the circle. So everybody was in the water, and I was in the middle. And they were holding hands. They were all holding hands. And as I was there in the middle of the water, I could feel in that circle the energy in the circle of the water. The water itself changed in the circle. When I was in that circle where we were, they shifted the energy somehow of the water itself. And I could feel the frequency of the water change. And it was as if me in the circle in the water, the energy of the water was doing something to my physical body. It was like I could feel like tingling. It was like lighting me up on the inside, like sparkles, like ding, 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 ding. That's how we can explain it, like crystalline codes or something going in me. It was like ding, 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 like lighting me up on the inside, because I remember felt so tingly, like kind of like the sparkles here on Instagram, like sparkling, lighting up inside my physical, body. So they were giving me a healing. They were giving me the water. They were, to me, how I understand it is they were lighting up the water that I was in, and then the water was going into my body, and it was activating, or they were sending the codes through the water, because water is a conductor. We know that water is a conductor.
And it holds consciousness.
Yeah, and it was going into my body. and I could feel my body like tingle, like ding, 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 like start to light up. Whew. So I knew I was getting upgraded, I was getting healed. And then after that, they told me to lay down. So I was like, okay. So I just kind of like was floating in the middle of the circle. They were still there holding hands, and I was floating in the middle of the circle. And all of a sudden, like outside of the circle, I saw pink and white dolphins. Pink dolphins! Like pink dolphins. I saw pink and white dolphins. Like I could kind of see beyond some of the women, and I saw them like jumping up the water. I don't even know how many. There was kind of a lot of them. But what happened was one pink dolphin and one white dolphin came into the circle. It came into the circle where we were. And the circle was huge. There was a lot of women around me. The circle was really, really huge. And the dolphins that came into the circle, they were kind of, at first, by my feet. And then what they were doing was they were jumping over me and under me and around me like this, like in a spiral. They were jumping around and around my body like in a spiral, and they kept on doing it. They started at my feet, and then they kept doing it. So when they were at my head, they went back to my feet, and they started jumping over me like that. And it was so interesting. So it was a pink and a white dolphin, one pink, one white dolphin, and they were doing that, like going over me like this. So I could actually kind of, in my vision, I could see how, like, kind of like a DNA, you know what DNA, like the helix,
double helix,
yeah, looks like. And it was as if they were creating that pattern of the DNA in me. So I could see kind of like my body, like that shape, like DNA structure shape as they were doing that spiral.
Were they making sounds?
Yeah, they were making the making sounds too. The clicking, you know the clicking sounds. And what happened was that, well, what I was like telepathically, the messages that were coming to me was that they were reversing, some of the patterns within me that were anti-Christic. Okay, so they were doing a reversal of the anti-Christic patterns that I'm holding in my geometry. Okay, so we all hold, we are geometry, everybody. The whole universe is made of geometry, made of codes, and we were hijacked. Okay, we have a lot of hijacking, that they hijacked our DNA, they put implants in us, they put these different programs, sexual misery programs in us, all kinds of different things, anti-Christic programs in us and everything, but that's like another conversation. But the dolphins were reversing my anti-Christic patterns and geometry within me. That's what they told me.
Wow.
Yeah. And so as they were like jumping over me and around me, like that, I could see the closest thing I could explain is like the DNA, like helix thing. I could see it spinning different. Like I saw it spinning one way, then it started to spin like another way.
That right there is mind-bending.
Yeah.
Just that part of the experience.
Yeah, and the color changed too. The color of it changed. So it was like a dark blue-ish, black-ish. It was like dark blue. And then when they were going around me like this, it started getting golden afterwards. That dark started to come away as they kept going and spinning around me and around me. I mean, it was so much. The dolphins were doing it so much that helix or whatever the pattern in me started to turn like golden, white, like golden color. I was like crying as that was happening. You know, when the dolphins told me they were shifting the anti-Christic, you know,
what an
geometry.
experience.
And I was like, thank you. Thank you so much. With so much gratitude. Like, oh my God, thank you. And so after they did that to me, that like the dolphins left the circle, and then I don't even know how this all happened, but then I was on the beach, and I was kind of like, oh, the mother, well, one of the mother who told me like, welcome to Lemuria, she told me, it was as if she was like up in my face, and she said, this is enough for you, sister. And then the next thing I knew, I was on the beach, and I was like sitting, like, and I felt tired. I was like, oh my God. And I could see the shaman who was facilitating. She was like off to my right over here. I could see her like sitting next to like a rock or a boulder with her drum. Ding, 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 ding. I could see her at the end. And it was so interesting because when I was there on the beach, that's when our journey ended. I mean, literally, that's when it like ended, and we had to like come back into our bodies. I was like, holy cow, what the heck? But before I left, the mothers of Lemuria, they told me, they said, well, the older one told me, like, she called me like child. She said, you know, child, you can come here at any time to heal. You can come here if you need healing. You can come here if you want to experience love. You can come here if you want to be held. If you want to be held by us, because we're always with you. You can come here at any time.
And when you read the Telos books, you'll learn that you can ask to go and heal etherically in the temples of Telos in your dream state. So you can just make into the temples of resurrection or temples of ascension where you can get healed.
So, to kind of like tie that all into this now present moment is this morning, I had a meditation this morning, and I was being told that, you know, what the mothers of Lemuria told me, that to create a meditation and for me to guide people there to the land of Mu, to the mothers of Lemuria, so that others can experience the same healing, the healing from the dolphins, and the healing of the ancient mothers of Lemuria.
Judy.
So I'm going to do that for all of you, guys. Yeah. So, whew.
Yay.
It was such a profound experience that the next day was 11/11. The next day, and we were just like blown away at that experience, receiving all those codes, receiving all that healing. That our 11/11 virtual cacao ceremony was freaking amazing, you guys. It was really super powerful. Everybody in there received so much and received so many codes that I'm going to make that available. Still, it's not available anymore, but if you want the replay of the 11/11 virtual cacao ceremony, I'll make that available so you can receive those light code activations if you guys want. If you guys want, I will, you know, I will put that. I'll put that out there. It was just so powerful because even when you watch it on the replay, you still receive and you still get those.
I feel
codes.
I'm still integrating all of it.
Oh my God! Yeah, it was so much.
We are still coming out of that 11/11 portal, so it's still, the energy is still here.
Yeah. So it was just so super activating and super amazing. And then last night we had an in-person cacao ceremony, and we felt that whoever was supposed to show up for that ceremony last night was to receive these codes from the ancient mothers of Lemuria. And we had 10 beautiful women that came, 10, yes?
Mm-hmm.
10 beautiful women that came last night, and they are here to help, you know, the crystalline waters of the earth, and they're here to know themselves, you know, from Lemuria, and to do this work on the planet. And so what was told to me was that I'm here to activate other priestesses from Lemuria, so you can do your work here on the planet. And one of the most important things as Lemurian priestesses is to heal the waters of Mother Gaia. Because when we heal the waters of Mother Gaia, you know, and transmit these diamond crystalline codes into her, she's going to, you know, it's another level of healing for her, but she's going to go into her ascended state. And then us, we also help heal the waters within us. Because we're mostly made up of water. The earth is mostly made up of water. And so if you're guided to me, then I know that I'm supposed to transmit these codes so you can work with the waters of the planet. Whew, so that was kind of a lot, you guys. I feel like all the emotions and all the feels of that, you know, just describing describing that. So thank you guys for coming today, for those of you that came on live, and for those are on replay, for sharing this sacred time with us. You know, when we share, we do feel that we're transmitting, you know, codes to you guys to help awaken some dormant aspects, you know, of you. And so I always feel when I'm sharing that I'm helping in some way to activate you, so you have a remembrance of yourself, the soul part of yourself. And then also I always feel like I'm transmitting some kind of healing energy and healing codes to all of you guys too.
Yeah, and if you're called to experience this kind of shamanic journey with Makwa Ikwa, we will be sharing some information, because she also does Zoom sessions
online.
She does once a month or so.
And she does it online. And then I'm also gonna be, I was told to, at the end of that meditation, I was also told that I'm going to be doing the same thing, leading people in doing that same shamanic, you know, type of journey. I don't know yet. I don't know what kind, but then that was told to me. So that's going to be happening soon too. Whew. All right, you guys, have a happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll be on, you know, again next week. And I don't even know what we're going to be talking about next week, Friday, but we're going to be talking about something. And so, yeah, so we right now we just flow. We just have to flow. We have to flow with the energies, flow with what's going on, flow with, you know, what's happening. And, you know, whatever we can do, we can answer any questions about ascension, about the cosmic energies, about your starseed energetics, about, you know, anything. You know, we're here for you. Just message us. We love you guys, you know, so very much. And we're just so grateful to be here at this time to experience this transition of Earth and help at this time.
So much love to all of you.
So much love to all of you. Thank you so much. We love you from the deepest part of our hearts.
I love you. Bye.
Whew. Namaste, you guys. See you next week.